Hello, I'm David Holladay. I'm in my backyard, and most of the days that you'd find me out here, I've got several knives and hatchets and machetes and tools of all sorts of modern make. But let's suppose we had a challenge to solve some problem and we lost our gear. And one of the things that I like to teach most of all is that we make do with what we have, not that which we wish we had. So right now I want a cutting edge. Now cutting edge is a lot of things, and the more creative you get and the more you go back in time and study all the different types of cutting edges, you can see that anything could be a cutting edge. In fact, in the modern times, we're cutting stuff with water. In fact, we can cut stuff with air. We can cut stuff with anything that we can get to work to cut with. And that's as endless as the creative minds on that project. But today, we're kind of stuck with rocks. Where it all began for humans might have been with bones and sticks, but later on they were able to shape those the best with rocks. In fact, even those bones and sticks were being shapen on the sides of cave walls. And so some of the oldest places on planet Earth where you can find a workshop is not the tool they made, but the place and the materials that they made the tool with. So we're the only animal on planet Earth that makes a tool to make a tool to make a tool to make a tool. Lots of other animals use tools, but we need a cutting edge. And today we're going to talk about the 5 ways that you can get into a cobble. And so one of them I'm not going to demonstrate. One of them would be fun to demonstrate because it's called haphazard percussion. You get up on a high spot, you throw a rock, you break it on other rocks, and you go down and collect the pieces made haphazardly as this rock hits the ground. But most people like to look at order of things, especially archaeologists. What came first? What's the first way to do things after haphazard? And if you go to a grade school class like kindergartners and say, today we're going to make arrowheads, and you give them some tools, they go out on the sidewalk and they take a rock and they start bashing the material that you're going to make those arrowheads out of, and it splinters because it gets what's called bipolar percussion. So that might have been one of the first ways. Or you control the way it breaks by doing something called anvil percussion. Those are probably the 2 earliest ways. So bipolar percussion means you're hitting a rock. Let's say you want to split some little piece of quartzite in half. Take our hammerstone, and if it'll hold up, we're going to pop it on top of another rock, and it's making that one go away, but it's not working on that one. Let's see if this one's tough enough. We want to pop it in half. Not working. And then we get cutting edges. There's a really nice cutting edge. And we get opportunities for knocking off more blades. That right there will gut a fish, a rabbit. It'll open up your cereal package on the plane or whatever they've given you on the plane that you can't get into because your teeth aren't tough enough and it's too strong a plastic. Have one of these in your pocket. They don't beep when they go through the radar. So what if we want to have a little bit more control? They think the next one's called anvil. So we did haphazard, we did bipolar. Anvil percussion means you're making a blade by popping it off, by hitting your big piece of material that you want to make a blade off of. It fits right back where it came from. It goes that way. So we popped it onto the rock, which is called the anvil, and it popped the blade off. And you're getting 2 colors of light here. I hope that's okay with you. And then the next step, the next thing they think people might have figured out was called hand-held percussion. So we went from haphazard to bipolar to anvil, and then there's handheld. And that means we're going to just knock a blade off and hit exactly where we want to hit. There's my cutting edge. That will slice into your skin. That will hurt you badly if you don't use it correctly. Got 2 blades.
Can you put them on the rock?
Yeah. It came off of that spot right there, and right there. Oh, it's upside down. Right there. So that's where this used to live. Right there. You see that? Okay, so I got 2 really nice cutting edges by doing handheld percussion. What's the 5th one now? Because we've talked about bipolar, haphazard, anvil, and handheld. That's 4. What's the 5th one? It's an interesting one. Let's say we want to get a little piece of rock knocked out of one of these blades in a specific place. Or we want to try to get the angle exactly right off of this. Wow, this is becoming a hand axe, by the way, that I can chop big trees down with if I'm a tough, strong cave woman. Okay, I'm not a cave woman, so I'll have to wait for my wife to come home. But handheld is sometimes hard to control. You want to hit it just exactly in one spot. But indirect percussion, that's the 5th one. Indirect means that you're taking a punch, putting it right where you want it to be, and then knocking the rock off exactly where you want it to go, because you can control the angle and the pressure. That's 5. I promised you 5 ways to get into a cobble. There you have it. Why do this? So we can produce the other tools we need. I think it's about 14 degrees today here. Maybe right now it's up to like 30 something. But tonight it's going to freeze. And if we needed to get a fire going and we didn't have all of our fancy modern gear, we would have to start getting really busy, because I bet you we only have about 2 hours of usable light left, maybe 3. And we would need tools to shape our bow drill kit or our hand drill set of local available materials. We don't have to. I got a house, got a car. I'm not on a camping trip. But if I was and wanted to just have fun, I could see if I could do it again for the several hundredth time. Even though I'm getting old, can I still get a fire from natural materials around here? It's empowering, makes me feel like I'm young again. That's a good reason. It's not an aphrodisiac, what do they call it? An anti-aging, an anti-oxidizing agent, or something like that. Antioxidant, you figure it out, you know what I'm talking about. It makes me stay young longer. Thank you very much for not shopping at Walmart today. You probably have to scratch that part out.